Assalamu alaikum. Islam's most revered month is on our doorstep. A heavenly silence has descended on earth as we await the sighting of the moon and Ramadan. We travel the length and breadth of this country to bring you the stories that matter from people who are truly the masters of their own destiny. Shukran for joining this week's An Nur the Light. Salt River, a historically industrial suburb at the heart of the textile industry, once home to flourishing clothing industries, tailors and dressmakers. A handful of families still make their living this way, and Muhammad Said Talib, the tailor, is passing on the trade.
Tiger Prison started with my father. He started the business. I can't give you exactly what year, many years ago. I was probably about 5 years, 10 years old when he started the business. He worked in a factory and then he had a workshop at home. And eventually opened a shop. And then my mother used to help him, my brothers used to help him. And we all just followed suit. Unfortunately, my father passed away, then my mother and my brothers weren't interested anymore in the business. And they left me alone with the business. And so I just carried on with the business. This is where it is today. If you want to become a tailor, it's going in process, right? You have to learn all the needlework, the handwork. The last part, like putting on the buttons, which normally you do when the garment is finished. So they teach you to do those things. And then they teach you to iron. So now you become an ironer and you're a finisher. So you're basically busy with two trades at the same time. And after that, you come to the machine and they teach you to become a machinist. And then you put a garment together. And it depends on you how quick you are on uptake, how quick you can learn or perfect it. Is more practical than anything else.
Coming from a line of tailors, Said Talib takes great pride in his craft, a craft he wishes to hand down.
During my time here, I've taught a lot of people, or a few of them, to give them the art, the trade. I think today there's a big future for somebody who wants to take up tailoring because there isn't a lot of tailors left. You have to go through that, sacrifice that time in order to learn to become a tailor.
Yes, I come here like at 2-5, so I just come to learn tailoring. I like just to make garment and scratch. Yeah. So I'm gonna open my own business, but not now. I'm still learning. Yeah, it teach me nice. It teach me everything.
The influence, I would definitely say it's a big skill to learn. I don't know any other tailors out there, you know, so I feel like I have almost like gold, you know, if I spend time with my uncle and for him to sit with my daughters, for them to be here and learn, sit with a chalk and it's like magic for them to have some time with him. And that's very important because not many of us in the family are into the trade, but to sit and have the time for him to sit and have the time with us, it's magic.
As with all businesses, one must have a future plan, and for Said, he hopes his son will carry on the family trade.
It's like a lost skill, as a lost trade. You don't get many tailors nowadays as you used to get in the past. But for me personally, it's something that you can always fall back on tailoring. For now to use your hands, I think many people in today's day and age is not able to work with a craft and use their hands. And it's something you can keep going for the future as well. I don't exactly know how I feel at the moment about taking it further, but we've spoken about it for a while already, and he was always keen on me taking the business over because he said he took the business from his father from, let's say, point A, and he's taken it to point B where he feels he took it as far as he can. In the past, I wasn't that keen on doing tailoring. If we looked at how hard he worked, it's a hard job. There's not just one aspect to tailoring. Every skill that is in there, from the cutting to the ironing off to finishing off the garment, it's a skill on its own.
Years of skill in the delicate craft mean Said's work truly speaks for itself, and there are those who trust his services in creating unique pieces.
I came to Mr. Talib because I need a suit made for my wedding in April, And I looked at all the various places in Cape Town where you could find a suit, and none of them really met the needs that I had. I actually spent about half a day looking online because I wanted someone who was very experienced at their craft and had done it for a while. And eventually I found Mr. Talib. It's been a very enjoyable process for me, getting to pick every single detail of the suit rather than walking to a shop and having to just take what you can get. So we actually sat down and discussed every details of the collar, the buttons, the style of the suit. And yeah, Mr. Talib's been very professional about it. And he's steered me in the right direction where sometimes I've had a few strange ideas about what I wanted.
At that time, when you used to make a garment, you used to do it with horsehair. It's a special canvas we used to put inside the jacket. And then you had to put it on by hand and tack it on. It was, I explained to a letter. Needlework that had to go into the garment. And when the garment is finished, and you take all the cotton, the white cotton out, and then you get your end product. But this was a very long procedure. Like 30 years ago, there was a tailor practically in every street in South Riven. If it wasn't in a shop, it was in the house. There were so many tailors here, but they all died out. I don't know, maybe I just had a passion and helped my father with it. And so one day, if he's not there, then I'm going to run away. And to be quite honest with you, I love them now more than ever before. I enjoy it. I try to make our garments. Our motto is to make every garment better than our last garment. So there's always something you work to better all the time, you know? And I think that is just the passion.
One thing is certain. Tailors, fashion designers, business students, and the community of Salt River certainly have a shining example of mastery, skill, and success in Saeed Talib, the tailor. Mr. Talib is part of a dying trade, as very few young people look to these kinds of professions as a career. We are blessed to have met him and bring you his story. Maulana Bam is standing by for this week's Q&A.
Alhamdulillah wahda wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da. Amma ba'd. Respected viewers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We begin by praising Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and send salutations upon our beloved Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the other messengers of the Almighty. Welcome again to the Q&A segment of the An Nur program. Among the questions that we have today is there a dua that can be read to find a good spouse? And firstly, we make dua that Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of those wishing to get married compatible spouses. There is no doubt whatsoever. It is a very important aspect of our life. And of course, a compatible spouse will make our life much more easier, much more meaningful, and will make our life much more enjoyable. May Allah ta'ala grant all of those requiring spouses, Allah grant them compatible spouses. I'm going to make mention of two ayats that can be recited that will help, inshallah, in gaining us compatible spouses. One is the dua of Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. It's such a beautiful dua, and I will give you the reference. Chapter 28, verse 24. Rabbi, inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam made this dua, oh Allah, I'm in need of anything good that you can provide me with. So this is the dua that Musa alayhi salatu wasalam made at a time which was a very critical time in his life. You can recite that, and I've given you the verse reference. Or also read this verse which is in chapter 65 between verse 2 and 3. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for all of those requiring compatible spouses. The second question, is it sadaqah when you give money to the poor or sacrifice other things like your time? A beautiful question, and it can be replied very beautifully in one hadith and saying of our beloved Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One day Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, told the people it is necessary for each and every one to give a charity or a sadaqah for every joint of his body. So Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, not every one of us has the means to give charity to that degree. We don't have that amount of money to be able to give charity. So the Prophet ﷺ then said that there are various ways of charity and sadaqah. And what a beautiful saying. And every saying of the Prophet Muhammad is beautiful. Administering of justice, between two people is a charity. Assisting a man to ride upon his beast is a charity. That means if people had conveyance, you help him to ride, it is a sadaqah, it is a charity. And helping him load his luggage is a charity. Then he said, a good word is a charity. Taking a step towards the masjid to go and perform your prayer is a charity. Removing harmful things from the pathway which is used by people is a charity. Subhanallah, how beautiful is our Almighty and our Deen that has enlarged the scope of good deeds to such an extent that He has made all these good deeds as a means and as a charity. The third question that we have today is, there are many people that can recite the Quran by heart, yet very few who understand the teachings. Now, we have to do both of these things together. I don't think we should make it into a dichotomy. You can't say, I'm only going to understand and not going to memorize. There are certain types of memorization that you need to even perform your prayers. But yet, after memorizing, you can't say, I have memorized, I don't need to understand or practice. Both of these things go together. When we memorize and we also put it into practice, it would be what we say, nurun ala nur, light upon light. It will be even better. So let us strive and not create a dichotomy. Let us memorize and understand and also put it into practice. It is in that we will get the full benefit of the Quran. Jazakallah for your watching. And if you have any further questions on this, please do email us and do send us your questions on the following details which are on the screen. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum.
If you have a question for Maulana, please do not hesitate to send it to us. It is indeed a privilege to have a scholar of this caliber take the time to answer our viewers' questions. Staying in Gauteng, we visit the Sultan Bahu Center to see how far they've come. Established nearly 40 years ago, the Sultan Bahu Center has grown from a soup kitchen to a national welfare organization, running outreach programs throughout the country.
I often say to people that when you come to the doors of the Sultan Bahu Center for one issue that you may be faced with, there's about 3 or 4 different issues that you bring with. Example being that we would as a team interview a cataract patient. When we screen that patient, there's so many more dynamics that are involved. Poverty, substance abuse, medical issues, more than even that, financial aid that they require. So hence, even attacking one project at a time can't be possible without focusing it on a whole. So we've come a long way in trying to see whatever plight the community has at large, and we try and as much as possible to help in those areas.
Free cataract surgeries are also provided, as the waiting list for these kind of surgeries can last up to 2 years in South Africa.
So the cataract project was initiated by us with the IMA, but it's now evolved that we've got different stakeholders in partnerships with various private institutes. We have just formed a relationship in October with the Wembley Eye Clinic in Cape Town. We're currently in negotiations with a hospital grouping in Durban. And in Johannesburg, we've got about 4 or 5 stakeholders that we currently use in private. So we screen them accordingly. There's criteria that we would follow and see financially if they fit into that criteria, and negotiations take place with stakeholders, and they would be treated like a normal patient would in private care.
Some of our patients have been blind for literally 15 years, waiting for an opportunity to have that sight restored. They can't, either because of the backlog in public health, or they just can't afford it in private. And we've done, I think we number in a good few thousand operations that we've done since we started.
Regardless of race or religion, Sultan Bahu has been growing its medical services to also cater for underprivileged patients who do not have access to dialysis.
What was happening in public health was that there's just not enough resources to meet the demands for patients with renal failure. And we began to see this, and we started out very slowly by helping 1 and 2 patients fund the dialysis, because in public health, because of the lack of resources, they are turned out and say, go and fend for yourself. And when we started that and we saw the absolutely life-saving impact of this one project, we decided to grow it. And it's now almost 15 years in operation, and we've saved many, many lives.
For over 10 years, Sultan Bahu has been running 3 drug rehabilitation centers in Cape Town that have assisted over 7,000 patients to date. They have recently opened yet another community drug rehab in Mayfair, providing top-class facilities and rehabilitation, including an outpatient service.
The need for a drug rehab center started off in our Cape Town branch, which was open about 15 years ago. To date, we've got 3 in the Cape Town region. Substance abuse is not only just pertaining to one area, and then hence we opened it in Johannesburg.
It's an outpatient facility, so they don't sleep here. They come in the morning and they leave in the afternoon. And we just basically give them the life skills and the tools to teach them how to live in the environment without using drugs. At the beginning, I started out as a client. This was 12 years ago. Sultan Bahu Center has given me my life back. It's thanks to the Almighty and Sultan Bahu Center that I will be able to celebrate this 12-year milestone that's coming up now. And not only that, obviously everybody needs to live. So they've offered me a job, and now I can look after myself and I can look after my family.
The Sultan Bahu Center holds an annual fete that has become a household favorite for Joburg families over the Easter weekend. The aim is to give small and emerging businesses a platform to showcase their work whilst raising funds for the welfare projects.
For the 4 days of the Sultan Bahu Center fete, we have people from all over the country. It's a calendar event, and everybody knows that at the Easter weekend, irrespective of which days it falls on, that's the place to be, to bring the community together, to serve, to appreciate each other at that time. Lots of shopping, lots of food, socializing in terms of the people in your community that we won't ordinarily meet, because these days we're also in our shell, we don't even know who our neighbors are. So it's a way of coming together and enjoying with the spiritual aspect that is attached to it. And for those 4 days, our kids are safe in a very safe environment. And at the same time, we're trying to heal as many hearts as possible.
As the centre continues to grow at a rapid rate, it is clear that their purpose is all about restoring one life at a time. Through their various initiatives and outreach programs, they are committed to fulfilling their duty as Muslims through healing bodies, minds and hearts. KwaZulu-Natal remains South Africa's playground, and we travel there to find more amazing places to visit. It may be a shopping mall, but definitely a place not to miss when in Durban. This is something for everyone, with over 400 shops and restaurants catering from high-end fashion to the budget-conscious shopper. Gateway Mall is billed as one of the largest shopping centres in South Africa, with a variety of offerings that is sure to pass away the time. Muslims will find a variety of halal food establishments, from the well-known to the speciality shops. There is also a prayer space for those who don't want to miss out on Salah.
The Musalla in Gateway is open now for about 5 years. There was a big demand from the community at large in Umhlanga. We have our 5 times prayer facilities available from the morning right till the evening. There's a high volume of Muslim shoppers in the mall throughout the day. While they're doing their shopping, they can always stop by. The prayer facility is open to pray in congregation and on their own if they like throughout the day.
Apart from food and clothing, the mall also has an adventure centre where visitors can surf at the wave park or have fun in the game centre. This is one place not to miss, but be prepared to spend a few good hours and bring comfortable walking shoes. Some of the best foods in the world started out in the back kitchen of a devoted cook, chef and baker. Just one look into the display cabinet at this Durban eatery and your heart will melt with love and affection.
I think it's one of the only places that sell ice cream filled macarons in South Africa, and we do it in over 18 different flavors. I saw ice cream macarons online and I really wanted to taste it. Made it for my family, we enjoyed it, and I started making it to retail in 2015. A lot of people were asking us, but where can we get it during the week? Where can we get it next weekend when you're not doing a market? I've come all the way from Joburg. I really want to get some like now. Where can I get it from? And we've been looking for a small retail store for a while, ever since we started getting those questions. We hoped that it wouldn't be a fad, and it's really worked.
The French macaroon has undergone a sensational redesign, and the result is a tantalizing cookie that melts heart and soul. Even the names of the flavors, such as the Bombay Crush, cotton candy and burfi, has one salivating for more.
I would definitely suggest the Ferrero Rocher inspired one if you're a chocolate fan. It's a Nutella ice cream dipped in chocolate, Belgian chocolate with roasted hazelnuts over. We've got something different would be the Bombay Crush, which is, I think it's also known as Faluda in Cape Town. So it's a rose-flavored ice cream with the grated jelly and basil seeds inside. Macarons have been done before, ice cream has been done before, but putting the two together is what makes it unique and different.
Zakia has found herself a pot of gold in the form of ice cream macaroons. People flock from near and far to sample her delights, and her business is booming. Escape rooms are fast becoming the hottest game experience of the year. Grab a few friends and put on your thinking caps as you set out to answer the riddles and work your way out of a locked room.
Mind Game Escape is a live escape room experience. We lock a team of up to 6 people in a room. They solve puzzles, solve mysteries, and the ultimate goal is to escape the room within the time limit of 60 minutes. We'll take the group, we will give them an introductory video, we'll explain to them the do's and don'ts of the room, we'll then give them an introduction to the room according to the theme. So if we're doing a Sherlock Holmes, they'll get the rundown of what happened and what they're going to be doing in the room. We then lead them into the room. The timer is started and they have 60 minutes to get through the room. We do help them as we go along, so if we can see that they're struggling or something's not quite right, we will give them a phone call and give them a hint as to what they should be doing.
The 19th century theme adds to the mystery of the adventure, and players have great fun trying to work out the clues while the clock ticks down.
We have had phenomenal feedback. All over Facebook, TripAdvisor, we're getting tremendous follow-up business from word of mouth. People are loving it. It's definitely something very different. Anybody can come. It caters for all ages. We do recommend, though, that no one under the age of about 14, because the puzzles can be a little bit complicated. But we have had people from 14-year-old up to 90-year-old coming through to play our rooms.
Mind Game Escape is still relatively new in South Africa, but people are lining up to take part and test their skills. It's fun for the whole family, but come prepared, as this is something that tests all kinds of abilities. Our lives will slow down dramatically over the next few weeks as we slide into the rhythm of the holy month. To our younger viewers who are starting their first Ramadan, I want to say stay strong. It is all but for the pleasure of Allah. To everyone else, Ramadan Kareem. Shukran for tuning in, and Assalamu alaikum from me, Zahra Robinson.
Allah has given me a cotton candy sky, a little bit of blue, pink, purple and white. I sometimes see the gray and I sometimes feel the rain, but I'll see the colors of the cotton candy sky again. I see the red of my mother's love, the true blue of my father's hugs. I see the orange of my siblings' smile. I see the pink and the white of the love of my life, and the deep, deep green that all children bring are the coolness of my eyes. For Allah has given me a cotton candy sky, a little bit of blue, pink, purple and white.